Once upon a time, many years ago, far away in the desert of the Sahara, there was a mythical figure called Aladdin who picked up a lamp lying in the middle of the desert. Upon rubbing this lamp 3 times, there appeared a giant genie coming out of this lamp. And the genie said, "Your wish is my command. What shall I do for you, master?" And Aladdin asked, "You mean anything I ask you will do?" He said, "Yes, master, anything. You have 3 wishes." What if I told you that that genie rather, is real? And there is indeed an Aladdin's lamp. Would you believe me? Some of us grew up watching this or reading this as some mythical story. But do you know that that is real? You can actually ask what you want and get it. As children, we believed everything. We believed the mythical stories on the cartoon. We believed the comic books. Because as children, that is how their minds are wired. That is how our minds were wired. We have very amazing imaginations. But as we grew older, we became realistic. We learned to believe reality and abandoned our imagination. But isn't it time for us to realize that life in itself is magical? How do you explain a baby born? Look at me. I was once a baby. Can you explain the transition? Of course, biology tells us how the baby grows and feeds and develops, the organ grows. Can you explain the process? Can you explain what turns the baby, what forms the baby in the mother's womb? Yes, again, biology explains it. But can you explain the process? The sun rises in the east and sets in the west, as we are told. Without fail, since the day I was born, there's never been a day that we were told that, "Oh, sorry, the sun didn't come out today." It has come up every single day without fail. Can anyone out there explain this? Yes, geography also explains this, how the sun is stationary and how the planets go around the sun, rotates, revolve around the sun, rotating on its axis. The earth rotates on its axis, revolves around the sun, and it forms the seasons and the day and the night. Yes. But can you explain how it happened? Life is magical. You plant a seed and it grows into a tree. A seed in your hand, planted in the ground and watered and given enough sunlight, will grow into a tree and produce many other seeds. Can you explain how that happens? Life is magical. And because we are so accustomed to seeing these things, we take them for granted. We are told in history that there was a time when there were no automobiles. We had horse-drawn carriages. And there was a particular person who came up then and said that that was the height mankind could go, that there was no such possibility of a carriage or a vehicle running without being drawn by a horse. Now the thought of riding a horse-drawn carriage is absurd. There was a time when it was impossible to think of the thought of flying. We hear about the Wilburite brothers who came and made that a reality. 2 brothers. I'm talking to you now on my phone. Can you explain that? The internet, explain it. Yes, we know the technology of how the ones and zeros, yes, but can you explain the inspiration behind it? Life is magical. The fact that we enjoy so many things today, sometimes we forget that many years ago these things were impossible. As a matter of fact, I can be here in my country and call someone else overseas, real time, live, and we can have a discussion as though we're in the same room. This was impossible years to come. It was unheard of, unthinkable, but now it's commonplace. What could happen 30 years from now, 50 years from now? What could be possible in another 30 years that is impossible today? Only your imagination, the limits to your imagination will define that. Life is magical. So I want to challenge us today to think of the things you have seen as not possible and re-examine that thought. Could it be that is just the limits to your imagination? It could be that that thing you think is not possible is in fact possible. I want to challenge us today to become like children once more and begin to dream and imagine of realities no one has ever dreamt of or thought of. Indeed, anything is possible. See you next week.